Hello guys, so in this video we are going to take a little break from Active Directory and we are going to set another role that is important in many enterprise environments. We are going to set DHCP Server. As always, everything that I'm going to talk about today is already written on my blog, so if I'm going too fast or you cannot understand me very well, you can go ahead and head to my blog and read more about this there. Link will be in the description. So why use DHCP Server? DHCP Server is very practical service. In my case, on all my servers, on important production servers, on network equipment, storage devices, and large network printers, I'm using fixed IP addresses, because on the server side of the things you want your IP addresses to be fixed. But if we are speaking about the client machines, like the Windows 10 machines we installed earlier, let's say you manage no matter small, medium or large network environment, DHCP Server will make your life much easier, because to the DHCP server you will assign a pool of IP addresses, and then every machine that gets attached to your network, and it's your domain machine, will automatically get IP address from the range you already defined. This is especially important if for some reason you are using fixed IPs on your, let's say, laptops. It would be very inconvenient, because if the person goes from your company to work somewhere in the field or at home, then he or she would have to change this IP address for every network they enter, and maybe select obtain an IP address automatically, and then every time they get back to office they would again have to go to the network properties and then define their fixed IP network address again. So this is highly inconvenient, and many networks, including probably your home network, uses DHCP servers, so your mobile devices, your tablets, laptops, and your guests that arrive at your home automatically get their IP addresses, so you don't have to bother with the IP addressing yourself. So there are many pros why you should use DHCP Server, and today I'm going to show you how to set up DHCP Server in your Windows Server domain. Before we begin, let's talk about prerequisites. I created a new Windows Server 2019 virtual machine named DHCP. Okay, let's go to the control panel. I named it also as DHCP inside the Windows Server 2019, and I already added it to informatiker.local domain. I'm also logged in as info admin, as Active Directory main admin into this machine, and my IP address for this machine is 10.0.0.32. Subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and DNS server is of course 10.0.0.31, IP address of our Active Directory. So that's it for the settings of this new virtual machine that is going to be our DHCP server. We have one slight issue before we can install DHCP role. This machine is freshly Windows Server 2019 installed, added to domain. I'm logged in as a main administrator for the domain, but still, if I wish to change something on this machine, or if I wanted to install something, I would get the same dialog. This is because I'm still not, although I'm domain admin, I'm not local administrator for this machine. So we need to add domain administrator local administrative rights for this machine. So we will do that just right here so we'll go into the control panel, into user accounts, manage user accounts. We will enter now local administrator account credential. So the machine you installed your Windows Server 2019 machine and created administrative account. Firstly, when you installed, use that account to approve changes or install something before you add the domain account as local administrator. This sounds a little bit complicated, but it's easy. So we will add info admin from domain informatiker.local, and we will add it as administrators. Administrators have complete control over the PC. So we want to add our domain administrator as local administrator on this machine. We will select next, we will select finish, and we will reboot the machine. But we don't even have a right to reboot machine as main domain admin on this new machine. So we will bypass this by going to command prompt, right click on it, run as administrator. Again, we will need locally created administrator. Okay, we will enter shutdown -s-t0, and this will shut down our machine. And when we are back, we will be able to log in as info admin and manage machine normally, and then we will go and install the DHCP role. Before this happens, let's go to our Active Directory main machine. A little bit of slowness as always. Okay, let's head on to Active Directory users and computers, to the users. Right click on info admin, select properties, select member of tab, and add enterprise admins. We will add our main domain administrator info admin also as enterprise admin or on our Active Directory server. Okay, back to our DHCP server. Let's log in as info admin once more. Okay, now we are able to shut down and restore. We will see also in control panel if we can now manage local users with our domain user. Okay, so that's it. We resolved our permissions, and we can now go on and install the DHCP role. We are installing the DHCP role so on SB DHCP machine. Let's close this first, go to start, server manager, okay, close this one, manage, add roles and features. Before you begin, as usual stuff, next, role based or feature based installation, next, yes, this is HB DHCP, this is the machine on which we wish to install the DHCP. Next, server roles, DHCP server, pop-up appears, add all that it's offering to you, add features. Okay, now the DHCP server is selected, select next. We don't need any other additional features, so just next. The dynamic host configuration protocol allows servers to assign or lease IP addresses to computers and other devices that are enabled as DHCP clients. Deploying a DHCP server on the network provides computers and other TCP/IP-based network devices with valid IP addresses and the additional configuration parameters these devices need, called DHCP options, blah blah blah. Okay, so there's DHCP. Next, confirmation. What we are going to install. Wait a little bit, as always, waiting game is strong. Okay, so installation succeeded. I have this addiction of rebooting. I will first reboot my server, and then we will go and configure the DHCP server so that it's functional for our domain. Although you can just go ahead and immediately configure your DHCP, I'm going to do a reboot first. Okay, back at the login screen. Wait for the server manager to appear and everything to load. We will now click at this little flag and this yellow triangle, and we will select complete DHCP configuration. First step that we are going to do, we need to authorize this DHCP server for our domain, so we will do that now. Hopefully we will do it successfully. we will use alternate credentials, but still we are going to enter by selecting specify and select info admin and enter username. Okay, select commit, done and done, and that is good. Authorizing DHCP server, so we done that. Okay, we are going to start DHCP by going into start again, Windows Administrative Tools, DHCP. Okay, so this is our DHCP server, and we are going to create a new scope. So we are going to select IP version 4, right click on it, select new scope. I'm just scrolling a little bit through my blog, so we are consistent video and the blog. If you follow one or another, then you can follow. Okay, welcome to the new scope wizard. Next, name the scope. I will name it client scope DHCP server for client part of informatica domain. I always like to enter descriptions, as you can see. Next, start IP address. I'm going to start at 10.00.51 and end at 10.00.61. So I will have these 10 IP addresses in the DHCP pool. So as you will see later, I will remove fixed IP addresses for my two clients machine, and they should get 2 addresses from this pool. The length of the subnet mask is going to be 24 bits, since we are using this subnet mask for our lab. Okay, so next. Okay, add exclusions and delay. We don't have any exclusions we want to add. This is useful if you have some equipment that it's in somehow before you added before you created the DHCP, and you can exclude it here. Okay, now let's go to the lease duration. Lease should not be too long and neither too short. I'm going to leave it as default 8 days. Okay, configure DHCP options. We would love to configure DHCP options, so we will select yes. Okay, add IP address of the gateway 10.0.0.1. Add, so our gateway address will also automatically be assigned with IP addresses from DHCP pool. Next. Okay, parent domain is informatical.local, DNS server is as is. That's all okay. Next. Win server, we don't have those, so we'll just select next. Yes, I want to activate scope now. Yes, and finish. Okay. Let's now again reboot our DHCP server. Let's reboot the DHCP server and see what happens next. We are logged back into our DHCP server. Let's head to Start, Windows Administrative Tools, DHCP. Okay, let's expand this. Let's go to our DHCP server. Everything is green. Let's see, address pool is 10.0.0.51 to 61. Scope options are, we have defined router, DNS server, and DNS name. Address list is still none. We are going to get some data here after we attach our clients to this DHCP server. So if you're doing this in lab in a VMware or VirtualBox, make sure you turn off DHCP functions of these virtualization applications. And if you are doing this lab somewhere in production environments or at your home, be very careful. If there are another DHCP servers, be sure to isolate always your testing lab from production or your home networks, because you are maybe going to make a mess if there are two DHCP servers on same network. So let's head back to our client machine, go to control panel, network and sharing center. We're going to change adapter settings, right click on our network adapter properties, TCP IP version 4 properties, and now we defined fixed IP address before we added DHCP. Now we are going to go and tell the machine to obtain an IP address automatically, obtain DNS server automatically, then DNS address automatically, close. Okay, it still has the same IP address, but it says that it has IP version 4 DHCP server on address 10.0.0.32. Let's go back on our DHCP server and check if the machine appeared here. Yeah, so now this client is managed by this DHCP server. Okay, we are going to go back to the group policy and Active Directory in the next one. And that's that. Have a nice day. Bye bye.